Hey, David Brewster here with new Brewster's Millions of Rants, and this is Randy Rhoads Diminished Secrets, and I have to admit that I've had a ton of requests to feature more of Randy Rhoads music, and so far you can find 2 chord play episodes and also 2 3-for-all episodes surrounding some of Randy's music, but over like the last year or so, there's just been Randy Rhoads requests coming from everywhere. And at first I thought it was the same person just hitting Randy Rhoads requests, and then I realized like, no, these are multiple people. I don't know if they know each other or not. But I noticed I was getting hit, like spammed, with Randy Rhoads requests. So it took me a little while to kind of put something together. Honestly, I had something completely different that I'm going to put together for Randy in the near future. But I definitely whipped this together just to kind of help offset some of those requests. So if you're a Randy Rhoads fan, here we go. So in preparation for this lesson, I actually did something I've never done before. I went through the transcription books for Blizzard of Ozz, Diary of a Madman, and also Tribute, too. And I've never done this, but I basically went through, every lick, every solo, every fill, every song. And I just kind of scanned through looking for diminished tonalities. It could be diminished chords, minor 7 flat 5, half-diminished, diminished 7th, diminished arpeggios, diminished based, licks and tonalities, hiding in his music. And I was actually surprised because my memory of Randy's music, I remember telling students this for years too, like, oh, diminished 7th, is all over Randy's music. It's everywhere. Actually, I was wrong. It's not everywhere. It's very, specific songs, very specific areas of songs. And Randy definitely was kind of holding some of this information back. You can actually hear more of it on Tribute than either of the studio albums combined. He was doing lots of diminished stuff, live. So here's an image I made kind of pinpointing where you can find Randy kind of tapping into this diminished tonality and sound. So this lesson is going to feature ideas from 2 Ozzy Osbourne albums, Blizzard of Ozz and also Tribute. And honestly, you can find everything on Tribute. It's the live version of what we're looking at. Also his live guitar solo obviously is on here too. But Steal Away the Night, obviously the studio version's on Blizzard of Ozz. And there's a live version too on Tribute. And some of those licks and phrases I just showed, like the tremolo picking part from Mr. Crowley, obviously that's on Tribute, and it's also on the studio recording too. And I would, if you have time, I would basically review both. Listen to the studio recording and then check out the Tribute version. And compare, like, little differences in the way Randy phrased it or the tone or whatever. But here's the 2 albums we're going to basically hit in this episode. So to get started, it's really important to realize there are 3 different types of diminished chords and tonalities that you'll find in music. And that's just a basic, diminished triad. That's the root, the flat 3rd, and the flat 5th. There's also minor 7 flat 5, which is known as half-diminished. Think of minor 7 flat 5 chords and arpeggios. And that's the root, the flat 3rd, the flat 5th, and the flat 7. And then there's diminished 7th, and that's definitely one of Randy's kind of trademark things. And that's root, flat 3rd, flat 5th, and double flat 7. So here's an image kind of breaking down like these 3 differences in the diminished universe. Now the most common role for diminished 7th chords in music, and this is definitely coming from classical music, is voice leading and basically moving from the 7 to the 1 chord. Something like this. So here's F sharp diminished 7, basically leading to G major. Right? Like that. So there's F sharp diminished 7, and then it resolves, to G major. You could do it again up there. F sharp diminished 7, basically to G major. Right? Now from Randy's historic solo from the Tribute album during the song Suicide Solution, you'll hear Randy play a lick like this. One more time. There's actually another diminished 7th lick that takes place right after that one, and we're going to look at that one too, but I just decided to kind of split these 2 up. So that's loosely based around F sharp diminished 7, and you hear Randy kind of spell out an F sharp flat 5, chord like this. Just think of an F sharp power chord like down here. Take that C sharp, move it down to C. Now it's an F sharp flat 5, right? And that's basically what Randy's spelling out, but it's up here, an octave higher. Right? Now a flat 5 almost immediately kind of signals diminished, tonality, or at least implies it, because that's kind of the telltale sound, is that flat 5, right? So Randy starts there, and he basically cruises down this F sharp diminished 7 sequence like this. That's a great one for waking up the pinky finger and kind of moving around the guitar neck. One more time right there. So he's basically playing with F sharp diminished 7 in that sequence one more time, kind of slow. Right? And that's built right out of this. Alright, that's like a 3 octave, F sharp diminished 7 arpeggio right here. And that final F sharp is your 3rd octave of F sharp right there. And you can see that's kind of where he built that sequence. He's starting here. Right. So here's Randy's sequence. And we can actually apply that to the entire, 3 octave diminished 7 arpeggio I just shared, like this. That's just kind of expanding the range of that idea, like that. Or something like that. So during Randy's live guitar solo, the next diminished 7th sequence that takes place in this solo is right here. One more time. And that basically is moving everything up, because we just did this. Right, and ended on that F sharp, and then he basically shift slides into A, and then he starts playing A diminished 7th right here. So we can basically recycle that same fingering we had for F sharp diminished 7 down here. We could just move everything up a minor 3rd, now start in A and do the exact same thing right here. Right? 3 octave A diminished 7 arpeggio. And what Randy did is he shifted into that A, started cruising up the first 4 strings just with hammer-ons like that. And then right there on the next, that next octave, when it starts on A to that C, he starts doing some of his trademark trills. So he does 4 right there between A and C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then go up to the next part of the arpeggio, that E flat and that G flat, and do 4 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go up a minor 3rd, do 4 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Go up another minor 3rd and do 4 right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. And he does this super crafty shift. And he's basically kind of moving into, it's like a G flat 5 right there. Like that. Really interesting. So slowly. And what a great workout for your pinky right there with those trills. And all the way through it. Alright, this last example actually takes place during Steal Away the Night, and you can definitely check out the studio recording, which Randy basically doubled that guitar solo, and it has this very slight chorusing effect. Or on Tribute, it's just him playing it live, and you can clearly hear it. And from Steal Away the Night, this is now in G diminished 7, and this looks something like this. One more time. it's definitely a variation of what we've looked at so far. So now we're basically flirting with G diminished 7. And he's starting right here on G, but he's coming down. And he's using basically that same sequence that we already had in the solo. Right? And right there, it's interesting the way he ends on that F. So he's kind of getting away from that diminished 7, but then he moves right back into it like that. Then shift slide that F into G, and now you're going to do a G, B flat, G, hammer on pull off. And then go up the arpeggio and do that same thing. Now you're doing this D flat to E, back to D flat, hammer on pull off. And do that on every string, right here, right here, right here. And then when you get to the high E, that's where you start trilling. Do a trill 4 times, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then basically shift back a whole step, grab B, grab this A, and then bend that to B. And that moves into the next part of the solo. Like that. So that last little part, and that's really hard to do because you're basically, doing a hammer on pull off, and your index finger has to do a very quick hop to the next string and the next note. So it's deceptively hard to play cleanly like Randy. Alright, that's going to wrap this episode of Brewster's Millions of Rants with this look at Randy Rhoads Diminished Secrets. And honestly, I have another Randy Rhoads, lesson planned. But honestly, I'm waiting for the MXR, Randy Rhoads Distortion Plus, pedal to be released. And I did see MXR, announce spring 2024. But that was last October or something, and I've been waiting. I still haven't seen a release date for it. But when that pedal comes out, when I get one, which I'm going to get one as soon as I can, I do have another lesson that's going to basically revolve around Randy Rhoads, that pedal, and, some more of his music, obviously. So I thought, well, in the meantime, I can make this one, and then there's another Randy Rhoads. I'm guessing that pedal's probably going to be released this summer. I'm going to snag one, like I said, as soon as I can, and I'll create the next Randy Rhoads lesson after that. So just a heads up. So anyway, leave some feedback and comments. Please subscribe to Night Lessons, and I'll be back before you know it with more content and material. Thank you.